Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me for another online yoga class. So today's class is going to be all about relaxing for fireworks night or bonfire night. So I don't know what situation you're in, but I know a lot of people that have got pets that have anxieties around the time. So I think this is going to be a really lovely one for you to bring your pets along to, help them relax, help them unwind. If you wanted to play some nice soothing music and just begin to light some candles that smell nice, begin to create a nice calming atmosphere, and maybe bring your pet along on the mat as well if they do suffer from anxiety around the fireworks. It's going to be a really lovely way to unwind at the end of the day. I'm going to be bringing a couple of blocks, a bolster, and then another big block as well, and then a blanket for my practice, because it's going to be truly restorative and we're going to be using some nice props to get deeper into these stretches. It's only going to be a short practice, as I know some of you probably have plans for fireworks night, but I hope you enjoy it. I hope you can unwind, and I hope your pets feel a little bit less anxious too. We are going to be starting the practice with a fireworks breathing pranayama, which I think is an absolutely lovely practice. You truly sound like a firework, you feel like a firework, and it's going to help you connect to your body and your mind. So I really hope you enjoy this practice. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. Okay guys, so we're just going to start in our seated position. We're actually going to start with a firework breathing technique, which is going to be really lovely for calming the mind, calming the breath, and really beginning to tune into your body and how you're feeling, staying nice and tall and expansive through the chest as we deepen our breath. So I recommend here, if you have a block or a cushion, just sit up on that. Also, if you're practicing this on fireworks or bonfire night and you have your pet who tends to get a little bit stressed, then maybe it's a good idea to get them in here with you. Your calming movements and your calming breathing and the soft soothing sounds, if you had any music playing, might be a really nice idea to get them in to calm down with you. So we're going to start with our breathing technique. So just open up through the chest, draw the shoulders down and away from the ears, really root down through your foundations, through your sit bones, and then expanding, lifting up through to the crown of the head as we remain tall through the spine. So as we inhale, we're going to bring our palms up to our heart center, and then we're going to inhale to snake the palms up. This is all on the inhale. We'll clap the hands. And then as we exhale through the teeth, through the mouth. Maybe begin to close your eyes. One more. Make it your deepest one yet. Then bring the palms together at the heart center. Just taking a couple more deep breaths here. Breathing in and out through the nose. Creating a small restriction to the back of the throat as we exhale, making the breath audible. Creating that ocean-like sound in the back of the head. And especially if you're with a pet that has anxiety of fireworks, then this can be a really nice soothing way of connecting with them, calming them down through your breath. And then take one more deep breath in through the nose. Hold it at the top. And exhale, let it go through the mouth. Softly blinking the eyes open, Namaste. So we're going to start today in a child's pose. So just coming onto your hands and knees, you're going to bring your knees to either together or you can keep them at mat distance apart. Toes together, your hips are back on your heels. And then you can begin to extend your arms out in front. While I maneuver around the dog, you can bring your forehead down towards the earth or a block if it doesn't reach the earth. Or you can bring your arms alongside the body with the palms facing up. Now if your hips don't reach your heels, you can take your rolled up blanket and place that between the hips and the heels. So it gives you that little bit of extra space to press down. We're going to side bend over to the right, so you're looking forward. Walk your hands over to the right, release the forehead down, feeling that stretch in the left side of the body. Left shoulder opens up. Inhale. Walk through center, over to the left, exhale, press the right hip back to the right heel. Inhale. Walk through center, press back. And then inhale, begin to walk the hands back up through center. So we're going to come into a heart melting pose and a hatasana. So similar to how we just did for child's pose, but this time we're going to come onto our hands and knees. You're going to make sure that your hips are over your knees, your feet are flat out behind you, hips distance apart. Then you're going to walk your hands forward. You can release your forehead down to the earth, or if you can't reach the earth, a block is fine. You want to be feeling that opening along the front of the chest, opening through the backs of the arms. Allow the chest to melt down towards the earth. Keep the hips stacked over the knees. If you wanted to take it deeper, you can begin to lift up onto the fingertips, tenting the fingers, tenting the palms of the hands. It just deepens the stretch in the backs of the arms. Then release the hands back down. Slowly walk the hands back up so you're back in your tabletop position. And then from here we're going to come down to lay on our bellies. So you can use your strength of your arms to help you as you lower down. Just move that out of the way. So we're going to come into a Sphinx pose. So you're going to bring your shoulders over your elbows, your forearms parallel, fingers spread nice and wide directly in front of you, tops of the feet flat to the earth, about hips distance or maybe even a bit wider apart. And you're going to begin to lift the chest away from the shoulders, lift the crown of the head up, look forward. It's a Sphinx pose. Continue to smooth your breath here, feeling the rib cage expanding, maybe feeling the belly begin to softly press into the earth as you inhale. And be mindful, there should be no compression in your lower back. If you are feeling a little bit tight or you're feeling that compression, you could just bring your elbows forward slightly so it just reduces the angle at which your spine is at. You'll be wanting to feel it in the middle, maybe in the upper back and the shoulders. You don't really want to be feeling any crunching sensation in your lower back. You want to feel a deep opening through the front side of the body and continuing to extend the neck away from the shoulders. One more big breath in. Exhale fully. We're going to come into a quadricep and hip flexor stretch now. So this can be quite an intense posture. Just go gently. If you need a strap, you can bring a strap as well. So you're going to bring your right forearm parallel with the short edge of the mat. From here, you're going to bend your left leg and take a hold of the foot from the inside. Now, if you can't reach the foot, you can keep it bent here, or as I said, take a strap around the foot. So you're going to take it from the inside so that the thumb is facing the same direction as the big toe. Okay, this could be the first option, taking it into a little twist. If you wanted to take it deeper, you can bend your knee, rotate at the shoulder so your fingers face the same direction as the toes and the elbow begins to spin up towards the ceiling, pressing the heel towards the glutes. This is quite an intense posture. You can look forward, try to avoid dumping into that right shoulder, but instead stay lifted through the chest. You don't want to be feeling any strain in your lower back. You want to be feeling a nice stretch along the front of the left leg and maybe towards the left hip bone. You want to be feeling a nice deep stretch. One more deep breath in. As we exhale, softly, gently release the left foot. Try to avoid it pinging out at the side. And we'll come into that on the other side, moving slowly. Left forearm parallel with the short edge of the mat. Bending the right knee. Reach your right hand back. Take a hold of the right foot from the inside. So again, thumb facing the same direction as the toe. You can look out to the side or look towards the foot. If you wanted to take it deeper, be mindful of the knee. You shouldn't be feeling any pressure in the knee, but the muscle above the knee, the quadricep, should be getting a nice stretch. To take it deeper, draw that heel in towards the glute, beginning to rotate at the shoulder as the elbow spins up towards the ceiling. Toes and fingers are facing the same direction now. Okay, so it's a deep stretch. You want your knees to be about hips distance apart. You don't want them to be sort of falling out to the sides. You really want to isolate the stretch in towards the front of the right leg. Staying nice and open through the chest, looking forward. Again, if you're feeling any strain in your lower back, it may be an indication that you've gone in a little bit too far. You can always draw your left elbow a bit further away, like we did for Sphinx pose. Take some of the strain out of the lower back. And then as we exhale, release the hold of the foot. And we'll just come back up to a kneeling position, pressing back. Sit your hips off to one side and then extend your legs out in front. So we're going to come into a variation on Gomukhasana, cow face pose. So the first option is to bend your right knee, keep the left leg extended out in front, and place your right foot to the outside of the left hip. So your knees are stacked one over the other. You can stay here with a nice tall spine, feeling that stretch in the right hip bone, and the right hip joint, sorry. Or if you wanted to take it further, you can place a bolster or a cushion on top of the right thigh and begin to fold forward, releasing your forehead down towards the bolster. Okay, you want to feel that stretch in the right sit bone, the nice muscle there towards the glutes. If you wanted to take it deeper, you're not feeling much of a sensation here, then you can bring the left leg into cow face as well. It just deepens the stretch a little bit, bending the left knee. You want both sit bones to be grounded here. You don't want your pelvis to be leaning off to one side. You want to establish your foundations. So this deepens the stretch a little bit, and again, you can stay nice and tall, or you can begin to fold forward. It's important to note though, you shouldn't be feeling any pain in either of the knees. You should be feeling nice and open and just slowly, softly beginning to release. Okay, your breath should be nice and calm. Maybe even begin to close the eyes, soften the jaw, soften the forehead. One more deep breath here, inhaling, exhaling fully, properly surrendering to the posture. Inhale, come back up to a seat with a nice straight spine if you weren't already, and then we're going to slowly release. So if you had both legs crossed, gently draw the right knee in first, and then the left knee, and extend out. Take any movements you need in between the postures, so shake out the legs. And then we'll come into that on the other side. So keeping your right leg extended, draw your left knee in, placing the foot to the outside of the hip. Again, no strain on the knee here. If you're feeling any pain in the knee, just come out of it a little bit until you find a nice sensation where you're feeling the stretch in the hip. Take your bolster, if you wanted to, place it long ways and begin to fold forward, releasing your forehead down. If you're not feeling the sensation here, then you can begin to bend your right knee, placing the right heel to the outside of the left hip. Just deepening that stretch in the left hip, feeling it on the outside, stretching deeper as we fold. You can stay upright or begin to surrender again to the bolster. Just be mindful, you should not be feeling any sensation in the knees at all. Even if it's not painful, you don't want to be feeling anything in the knees, just strictly at the hips. Then inhale, begin to press all the way back up if you weren't already. Releasing your legs one at a time. Bring the left knee in first, extend, draw the right knee in and extend. We're going to come into a wide leg forward fold to get into the hamstrings as well as the inner thighs. So again, you may want to block props here. You're going to bring your feet to a comfortably wide distance where you're feeling a stretch in the inner thighs. You want your knees and your toes to be able to face up towards the ceiling. And depending on your flexibility, props may or may not be of use to you here. So if you're finding that you're sort of struggling to stay upright, in this position, then you can place the hands to the outside of the hips and lengthen the spine, or you can sit up on a block. That's going to really help to lengthen your lower back. You want to stay nice and tall here. If you're here, no problem, and you feel nice and tall, you're not rounding through the lower back, but you can instead lift, then you may want to take it further and begin to fold forward. So maybe just taking a block, releasing the forearms down, try to stay lifted through the chest and look forward, and maybe slowly over time, depending on how many props you have, you can begin to release down, releasing your forehead. Try to maintain the activation in the legs by keeping the toes drawn up towards the ceiling. Make sure the knees aren't collapsing inwards, but they're staying facing up. Hopefully feeling a stretch in those inner thighs, the backs of the legs, and maybe towards the hips as well. Taking one more deep breath. And exhale fully. And then as we inhale, begin to walk the hands back up. Take a little lift at the top if that feels nice, opening through the chest. We're going to come into a supported legs up the wall pose. So if you don't have all the props available to you, then you can just come to a wall, bring your legs up towards the ceiling. If you don't have a wall, then you can do it without the wall. It's just a slightly more active posture. If you have the props, then a lovely variation is to create a foundation with your blocks. Whatever that looks like for you, it might feel a bit more like this, depending on how your blocks or your props are working. So you're going to bring your legs up, trying to find a nice stable position, and then you're going to place your blanket, if you have one, so it just meets the tops of the shoulders, okay? So your head is resting on it, the tops of your shoulders are on the mat, or at least sinking down towards the mat. Release your arms alongside the body with the palms facing up. As I said, if you don't have this, then use a wall. You want to feel nice and stable in your position. And if you still had your pets with you, if they've been feeling anxious about the fireworks, then maybe use this opportunity to bring them into your mat or bring them alongside your mat. Maybe let them sleep in the crook of your arm, or just let them sleep peacefully beside you. Allow the body to feel heavy, feel supported by the props. Allow the shoulders to melt down and away from the ears as we bring the arms open. Feel the fingertips beginning to curl into the palms of the hands. Continue to open up through the throat, tipping the chin away from the chest. And allow your natural rhythmic breath to return to you. Breathing in and out through the nose. Filling and expanding your entire chest cavity all the way down into your belly. And as you exhale, feel your body surrender, feeling heavy. Now, if you wanted to stay here for your Shavasana, I recommend you do that if you're comfortable. If you would like to come into a more traditional Shavasana, then you can release your props or come away from the wall and just come down to lay on your back instead. Settling yourself down for your final rest. Taking any blankets or eye pillows or anything you'd like to take with you. Allow your mind's eye to rest, becoming still and calm. I recommend you stay in your Shavasana or your restorative legs up the wall posture for as long as you have the time for today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day. Thank you so much for joining me today. As you go forward, I wish you peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, and peace in your heart. Namaste.